Let's set up the control rig for the stylized character. The first step is making sure we have the correct settings enabled in order to properly use the control rig. So let's go up to our settings, plugins, and in the search bar, type in control rig. Go ahead and click on enable for the control rig. And when prompted with this message, go ahead and click yes. And then when prompted to restart the engine, go ahead and restart. There are two ways to create a control rig. The first way is to right-click in the content browser and go to Animation, Control Rig. And when prompted with this window, go ahead and click on Control Rig and Create. And now you can go ahead and name your control rig blueprint. I'll rename this SCK_control rig. Double-click on it, and this will open your control rig editor. Notice there's this button under the Rig Hierarchy tab to import hierarchy. So I'm going to want to select my mesh, search for it in the content browser, and now I can click on Import Hierarchy, and with this selected, click on this button to use the selected asset from the content browser and click OK. And now here you can see that the character shows up in the viewport, and you can navigate in this viewport just like you would in your main editor window. And in this Rig Hierarchy tab, you can see all of the bones and the hierarchy. The execution stack will show the logic that you set up here in the rig graph. And if you're missing either of these tabs, you can come up to Window and just check the appropriate tab. A faster way to create the control rig is to right-click on the skeletal mesh and go to Create Control Rig. It already creates the control rig blueprint and names it properly, and when you double-click it, you can see that the rig hierarchy has already been added. Since the stylized character uses the mannequin skeleton, let's go ahead and borrow the rig graph from the control rig mannequin project that was migrated into this project. So here in the mannequin control rig's rig graph, you can see all of the logic to make this control rig work. I'm going to left mouse click and drag to select all of this logic. I'll hit Control C to copy. Go back to my stylized character control rig and hit Control V to paste. Zoom out and move these nodes down. I guess I'm moving this guy too. But this is my original forward solve node. But since I already copied that over, I can just go ahead and delete that. So obviously right now our character looks like a crumbled mess, but not to worry, we will fix that. So let's jump back to the mannequin control rig, and we're going to copy all of the controllers over. So I'll shift select and copy all these hand controllers, and I will paste them on my stylized character. And I'll continue that process for all of these controllers. And here we have the controllers and their hierarchy. So I will shift select those, Control C to copy. And then in my stylized character control rig, I'll collapse this root skeleton hierarchy, right-click, and paste all of the controllers. And now you can see my character kind of popping back into place and looking normal. So I can select the controllers in the viewport, and I can move them around and kind of test it out. I can click on Compile to set him back to his default position. And also notice in my compiler results, it tells me that it has compiled the rig successfully. Copying the mannequin control rig over to this stylized character worked especially well in this case because the stylized character is not only based off the mannequin skeleton, but he also matches the proportions of the epic mannequin skeleton. I'll go ahead and click on Save. It almost feels like cheating when it's that easy to create a fully functioning control rig, but that's the beauty of working in Unreal. You don't have to reinvent the wheel each time, and you can utilize existing assets and tools to make your workflows faster and easier.